All right, everybody. Oh, happy day. I hope you're doing insanely well. In this video, I'm going to share with you 5 things that you're going to need to know when you first decide to start off selling insurance. Whether you're captive, whether you're independent, you're going to want to know these 5 tips so that you can translate the business into higher levels of success and not be put into the same position that some other agents have found too little, too late. So I'm going to give you the 5 tips that you're going to need to know to translate the business into higher levels of success when you start out in this industry. So before I dive into this with you, jasonfinalexpense.com. I do run a national insurance agency. I teach, train, and recruit agents across this nation to sell life, Medicare, and annuities face-to-face, but more importantly, in the telespace. So if you'd like some free resources, my website's there. You can grab those free for the taking, and I appreciate you joining me today. So tip number 1, when you start off as an insurance agent and you think this is your jam, well, make sure you got the right music in play. You've got to have tip number 1, ownership. It's so important. You've got to own it. You've got to control it, and you've got to have full control if you want the best chance of finding full levels of profitability. You got to own the business. You got to own your decisions. You've got to own everything that you do, everything that you say. But you've also, very importantly, you need to own your book of business. Do you own and control your book of business? You got to be about your business. Let me tell you, you better own it. You better control it. And a lot of captive insurance agencies, even some independent agencies, you as the insurance agent do not own and control your block of business. Sometimes you don't find this out until way down the road, a couple of years later, and then you decide that, okay, I want to go get paid, more than 45% to sell final expense for this captive agency, and you find out that they have your book, you got nothing because maybe you weren't fully vested. So it's important that you have ownership of what you do in your business. Nobody should care more about your business than you. But when you first start out as an insurance agent, tip number 1, take control, take ownership of everything. Make sure you own your business, own how you work, but make sure that you own and control your block of business, just like at my agency, jasonfinalexpense.com, my insurance group. Everybody owns and controls their block of business. They own it, nobody else, okay? It's very important that you understand you need to own and control your block of business if you want the best chance of being a beast in this space. Last thing you want to do is be in the business and realize it isn't even your business. A lot of captive insurance agents don't even read the fine print, don't realize that they don't even own anything, and they thought they had ownership. They were sold, okay, maybe in this rah-rah meeting, MLM type meeting, and then they find out that maybe they feel a little slighted because they were told you own and build your block of business, and they find out that it's not even theirs in the first place. So ownership, tip number 1, make sure you own it. You've got to have full control to find the highest levels of satisfaction as an insurance agent. Tip number 2 that you're going to want to know about is you got to know, what is your compensation? You don't deserve to be getting paid 45%, okay, or 60% at some captive agency, all right, or even some of the independents out there. You deserve to be paid more when you're putting out money for leads. So compensation is important, but maybe if your agency is giving you free leads, well, there's a price to be paid. Nothing on this planet is cheap, easy, or free that's worthwhile. So if the agency is giving you some free data that they call leads, well, that may make sense why they're paying you so little. So understand you need good, fair compensation, but it's not all about the compensation, even though that's extremely important. You got to have the ability to capitalize on the compensation when you decide to shake hands. So understand ownership, tip number 1, crazy important, but compensation is a very important piece of the picture. That's why it's important to join a good agency like mine or some others out there that will give you a good, fair handshake, give you a very good street level commissions, and not handicap you as you're helping the greatest generation on the planet. So tip number 3 that I'll share with you, you really need to understand your market. You've got to understand your leads. And when you're new, you probably don't have this dialed in and ready to roll. Let me share with you a lot of captive agents that get fed their leads from their management team. And it's kind of like the old good buddy system. You're not getting good leads unless you're, okay, doing everything they ask you to, kind of like the good old boy system, right? Some of these agencies are like that. Well, as an independent agent or an agent that wants to capitalize in a little better way, the agents that really make it in this space, they understand their market. They understand the best leads, just like a good fisherman understands the best fishing holes. If you want to have the best chance of success, you better understand your market. You need to understand your demographic or join a good agency like mine that understands who we serve, how we help them, and some of the best lead vendors on the planet. If you want to have profitability, you better understand your market. It's crazy important. Leads, leads, leads are going to help you in a powerful way. So understand your market, understand who you serve, how to help them, and you're going to be able to help them by having lots of conversations. Let me share with you, the more phone calls you make in telesales, the more profitability you can take home to your wife and kids, all right, and help move your business forward in the right direction. But without leads, you're going to be lost. You're going to be in a bad place. You're not going to believe that you can do it if you don't have enough people to talk to. So it's crazy important that you understand your market. Are you going to work with a senior market like what we do? Are you going to work with a disabled market? Are you going to work with a higher net worth market like we do? We sell annuities all day long. We do it amazingly well. I helped a family with an annuity today virtually, all done over the phone. It was amazing. It was fun, but you can do this over the phone, whether it's Medicare insurance, life insurance, or annuities. You just have to understand who is your market, who are you going to serve, and how are you going to serve them. You've got to understand this before you dive into what you want to do, or have a good mentor, a good upline, somebody that you can lean on that will provide you some of the best leads in the industry and help you understand your market in a training process with modules. That's why in my agency, we go through so much training before an agent ever touches leads or gets into the market so that they don't make a mistake that could cost them time or money. And a lot of agents, they get shined on in these MLMs. Okay, oh, you own and control your block of business, and you find out you don't. Okay, the company does. You find out your compensation isn't great, and then you feel like, oh crud, I was told I got leads and I got led on a wild goose chase. I was handed basically a phone book. Okay, this happens to some really good agents. They feel like they got in some of these career briefings, sometimes rah-rah sessions, Kool-Aid drinking kind of an environment. And I want you to have transparency so you can transact in more powerful ways. So understand tip number one, again, you got to have ownership, got to have good compensation, but you got to understand your market if you want to make a way profitably. All right. So the next tip I want to share with you is you're going to need, okay, training and development. What and who is training you? If you want to move forward, you've got to have somebody that has made it, truthfully made it. It's so important that you vet your trainer, you vet your upline, you make sure that the decision that you make when you lean forward is with somebody that hasn't failed out of the industry, someone that has truly found success. Distress bleeds distress, and success will give you a better chance of being a rock star in this space and really making it. If you're being trained by someone that never made it, you're being basically trained by someone, okay, that's a failed out agent, someone that is sick and tired of actually doing the job and just wants to be a manager, okay, behind a desk somewhere, and isn't deliberate in how they help you move forward, let me tell you, you're not going to be happy in this industry. So vet your trainer, make sure you've got a good training program, a good training regiment before you ever touch the market. It'll give you the best chance of making it. That's why it's so important to go through a telemastery program if you're going to go through and do telesales. If you're going to do face-to-face, I also put agents through a lot of modules, a lot of training, so they understand technique, but more importantly, how to take care of your consumer in more powerful ways. It's all about serving these sweet people. They come first, we come second. So training and development is important, and you must be intentional about this, because if you're not, you can get stuck sometimes in an agency that's just handing you a website, giving you maybe a Calendly, and not giving you the care and the attention that you need to sustain your career and have the best chance of success. When 90% of the agent force fails out, sometimes because they don't have ownership. Sometimes agents fail out because they didn't understand that they deserve to be compensated above a 45% comp grid. They weren't even at street level and didn't know any better. Sometimes they just had lousy leads. They didn't understand the market. They didn't understand how to make it. They thought that phone book, okay, that CRM, okay, the leads that their manager gave to them, okay, were that all that was out there, okay? Maybe didn't understand what good Facebook leads look like, what maybe some good direct mail leads look like. They're like gold. It's so important that you understand what you need to do, but you've got to have training and development if you want the best chance of making it. Practice, drill, and rehearse before you spend real dollars on leads and get real frustrated real quick, especially when your upline and your manager hasn't really made it. I'm a $1 million roundtable insurance agent and even agency owner. It is so important that you're learning from people at the top of the food chain if you want to take it to the next level. There's a lot of good trainers, a lot of other good agencies out there. Make sure you're aligning yourself with the best in the industry so you can be put in the best position for success. The last tip that I'll share with you is you got to have the good people that are going to be around you. Okay. Money follows good relationships. It always has, always will. You're definitely in the business for yourself, but you should never be by yourself. Check out my agent interview and testimonial playlist. It'll shed some light on how we operate, a little different. We're very intentional in how we teach, train, and translate the business. And there's some other good agencies out there as well. We're not the only shop in town. So understand you got to have the right people around you to help lift you up, build you up, so that you can have the best chance for profitability. You got to have good staff. You got to have good support so that you can have the highest levels of success. So tip number one, have good ownership. Tip number two, you deserve to be compensated well. Tip number three, understand your market. Understand the leads are important. Understand you need good training, good development, but the best chance of survival and profitability comes from having powerful people around you that can propel you forward and not hold you down. I hope this serves you today. And if you need anything at all or the free resources on my website, feel free to reach out, jasonfinalexpense.com. I appreciate you watching and have an amazing day. Thanks so much.